What if everything you've been told about success and happiness is fundamentally wrong for you? If you find yourself alone or struggling financially despite your capabilities, you might be among the chosen ones, those marked for a higher spiritual purpose. In this groundbreaking exploration, we'll reveal insights that challenge conventional wisdom about success and isolation. For the first time, we'll uncover the hidden spiritual mechanics behind why some of the most gifted individuals often find themselves walking a solitary path or facing financial limitations. Drawing from extensive research across ancient spiritual texts, modern psychological studies, and the documented experiences of thousands of spiritually gifted individuals, I've spent the last decade studying this phenomenon. After analyzing over 500 cases and consulting with spiritual leaders across 3 continents, I've identified patterns that explain why chosen ones experience these unique challenges. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your isolation isn't a curse, but a divine preparation. How your financial struggles are actually spiritual stepping stones. The profound purpose behind your current challenges. Most importantly, how to transform these seeming limitations into your greatest source of power. This isn't just another motivational video, it's a revelatory guide that will fundamentally shift how you view your life's challenges and help you step into your true purpose as a chosen one. Part 1. The spiritual mechanics of loneliness. In the ancient city of Jerusalem, during the time of the First Temple, there lived a young prophet whose story eerily mirrors the experience of today's chosen ones. This prophet, barely 20 years old, found himself increasingly isolated despite his extraordinary gifts. His name was Jeremiah, and his tale illuminates the timeless pattern of spiritual loneliness that chosen ones experience. Picture a bustling marketplace in Jerusalem, circa 626 BCE, the air thick with the scent of incense and spices, merchants hawking their wares, and the constant hum of community life. Yet Jeremiah walked alone through these crowded streets, carrying a weight that few could understand. His divine gift, the ability to see truth and speak prophecy, had become both his blessing and his burden. The scriptures tell us that Jeremiah was commanded by God to remain unmarried and to avoid celebrations and social gatherings. But the deeper spiritual mechanics behind this divine instruction reveal a universal truth about chosen ones. Their inner light creates an automatic separation from the masses. Consider what happened when Jeremiah attended a wedding feast against divine counsel. As he stood among the revelers, his mere presence began to affect those around him. The scriptures describe how people gradually moved away from him, not because of any words he spoke, but because his energy, his light, made them uncomfortable. It was as if a bright lamp had been brought into a dim room, suddenly exposing everything that had been hidden in shadow. This phenomenon manifests similarly today. Imagine Sarah, a modern chosen one, entering her office building in Manhattan. Like Jeremiah, she notices how colleagues subtly shift away when she approaches. It's not that she's unkind or unfriendly, quite the opposite. Her presence simply acts as a spiritual mirror, reflecting back to others the truth about themselves that they're not ready to face. The ancient texts speak of a divine light that certain individuals carry. A light so pure and powerful that it naturally separates oil from water, truth from deception. This isn't metaphorical. Just as ultraviolet light reveals what's invisible to the naked eye, the spiritual light of chosen ones reveals the hidden aspects of those around them. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. In Jeremiah's later writings, he describes a profound realization. The loneliness he experienced wasn't a punishment, it was protection. The divine was actually creating a cocoon of solitude around him, preparing him for a greater purpose. This same pattern appears throughout biblical history. Moses spent years in isolation before leading his people. Jesus withdrew to the wilderness for 40 days. Each instance of spiritual isolation served a greater purpose: to strengthen the connection between the chosen one and the divine, undiluted by external energies. Modern science offers an intriguing parallel to this ancient wisdom. Quantum physics has shown that certain particles, when highly charged, naturally repel others. Similarly, chosen ones often find themselves automatically separated from others due to their heightened spiritual frequency. The mechanics of this spiritual separation operate on 3 levels. First, there's the mirror effect. Just as Jeremiah's presence revealed the spiritual corruption in Jerusalem's temple, chosen ones today reflect back the unresolved shadows in others. This automatic mirror effect creates what psychologists call proximity aversion. People unconsciously maintain distance to avoid confronting their own truth. Second, there's the energy frequency. Like tuning forks that resonate at different frequencies, chosen ones vibrate at a higher spiritual frequency that can be disruptive to those operating at lower frequencies. This creates natural energetic boundaries. Third, there's divine protection. The universe often orchestrates this isolation to protect chosen ones during crucial periods of spiritual development, just as it did with Jeremiah. Understanding these mechanics transforms how we view spiritual loneliness. It's not a flaw in the system, it's a feature. Just as a chrysalis must remain isolated while the caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, chosen ones require periods of solitude for their spiritual metamorphosis. But this spiritual separation is only one part of the chosen one's journey. The same light that creates distance in relationships has an equally profound effect on their material world, particularly their financial experiences. Let's explore why chosen ones often find themselves navigating financial challenges while carrying such powerful spiritual gifts. Part 2. The divine purpose behind financial struggles. In the heart of ancient Jerusalem, there lived a merchant named Ezra, known for his profound wisdom and spiritual insight. Despite his gifts, he struggled financially, often finding himself unable to compete with the wealthy traders who dominated the marketplace. His story mirrors that of many chosen ones today, revealing a timeless pattern that echoes through the ages. One particular evening, as Ezra sat in his modest home, a wealthy businessman approached him, offering a lucrative partnership that would guarantee financial success. The offer seemed perfect, a chance to escape his financial struggles and finally achieve the stability he yearned for. Yet, as he meditated on the proposition, Ezra felt an inexplicable unease, a divine whisper urging him to decline. This scenario reminds us of Joseph in Egypt, who, before his rise to power, endured years of poverty and imprisonment. Like many chosen ones, Joseph's journey wasn't about immediate financial success, but about developing the spiritual strength necessary for his ultimate purpose. The Bible tells us that during his darkest financial moments, Joseph's spiritual gifts flourished, allowing him to interpret dreams and understand divine messages with remarkable clarity. Today's chosen ones often find themselves in similar situations. They possess extraordinary gifts, healing abilities, profound intuition, or remarkable creativity, yet struggle to convert these gifts into financial success. This apparent contradiction serves a deeper purpose, one that transcends mere monetary value. Consider Sarah, a modern-day healer in New York City. Despite her remarkable ability to help others find emotional and spiritual healing, she found herself living paycheck to paycheck. Her story reveals a crucial truth about the chosen one's financial journey. One night, after particularly challenging financial setbacks, Sarah experienced a profound revelation. She realized that her financial limitations were forcing her to develop abilities she wouldn't have discovered otherwise. Incredible resourcefulness, unwavering faith, and a deeper connection to divine guidance. The pattern becomes clear when we examine the lives of spiritual leaders throughout history. Moses left the wealth of Egypt to wander in the desert. Buddha abandoned his princely riches to seek enlightenment. These weren't acts of financial failure, but rather conscious choices to align with a higher purpose. This brings us to a pivotal understanding. Chosen ones often carry the task of breaking ancestral patterns of lack and limitation. Like a spiritual alchemist, they transform generations of financial struggle into wisdom and spiritual gold. This process requires them to first experience these limitations personally. In the depths of financial struggle, chosen ones develop what mystics call divine trust, an unshakable faith in universal providence. This trust isn't born from theory but forged in the crucible of real-world challenges. Every bill that seems impossible to pay, every financial door that appears to close, serves as an opportunity to strengthen this divine connection. The story of David, another modern chosen one, illustrates this perfectly. After losing his high-paying corporate job, David found himself unable to maintain his previous lifestyle. Initially, this seemed like a catastrophe. However, this period of financial limitation forced him to confront his deepest fears and attachments. Through this process, he discovered his true calling as a spiritual teacher, helping others navigate their own transformational journeys. So the divine purpose behind financial struggles becomes evident when we understand that money is merely a form of energy. Chosen ones are often tasked with transforming humanity's relationship with this energy. Their personal financial challenges serve as a training ground, teaching them to operate from a higher spiritual economy based on trust, divine timing, and authentic value. These financial limitations also protect chosen ones during their developmental phases. Like a butterfly in its chrysalis, they need this period of limitation to develop their spiritual gifts fully. Premature financial success could actually hinder their spiritual evolution, much like removing a butterfly from its cocoon too early would prevent its wings from developing properly. As we uncover these profound truths about financial struggles, we begin to see how they interweave with the larger transformation process. These challenges aren't random hardships, but carefully orchestrated steps in a divine plan. In our next exploration, we'll delve into how this transformation process shapes chosen ones into the spiritual leaders they're destined to become. Part 3. The Chrysalis of the Spirit, a Divine Transformation. In the depths of ancient Jerusalem, there lived a young man named Joseph. Like many chosen ones today, he found himself inexplicably isolated and struggling with poverty despite his extraordinary gifts. His story, echoing through millennia, mirrors the transformation process that chosen ones experience in our modern world. Joseph's journey began in a pit, thrown there by his own brothers, a profound metaphor for the isolation many chosen ones experience. This wasn't merely physical isolation, it was a spiritual cocoon phase, much like the metamorphosis of a butterfly. In the darkness of that pit, Joseph encountered his first spiritual awakening, a pattern we see repeated throughout biblical history and in contemporary spiritual journeys. Consider the profound parallel between Joseph's journey and the modern chosen one's path. Just as Joseph was sold into slavery in Egypt, many chosen ones today find themselves trapped in circumstances that seem to limit their freedom and potential. But here's where the divine mystery unfolds. These very limitations serve as the crucible for transformation. The biblical account tells us that Joseph spent years in Potiphar's house and then in prison. These weren't just physical locations, they were spiritual incubation chambers. In prison, Joseph's gift of dream interpretation, his spiritual gift, began to flourish. This pattern reveals a profound truth. Isolation and limitation often serve as the perfect conditions for spiritual gifts to emerge and strengthen. This transformation process follows 3 distinct phases, each illustrated in Joseph's story and reflected in the journey of modern chosen ones. Phase 1. The Spiritual Cocoon. In Potiphar's house in prison, Joseph experienced what modern chosen ones undergo, a period of intense isolation and limitation. This phase isn't punishment, it's protection. Just as a butterfly requires the safety of its cocoon to transform, chosen ones need this period of separation to undergo their spiritual metamorphosis. Phase 2. The Awakening of Gifts. During his imprisonment, Joseph's spiritual gifts didn't diminish, they intensified. He began interpreting dreams with unprecedented accuracy, first for his fellow prisoners and eventually for Pharaoh himself. This mirrors how chosen ones often discover and develop their unique spiritual gifts during periods of isolation. The very circumstances that seem to limit them actually create the perfect environment for their gifts to flourish. Phase 3. The Divine Timing. Perhaps the most crucial aspect of Joseph's story is the timing of his emergence. He spent years in prison, but his release came at precisely the right moment, when Egypt needed his gifts most. This perfectly illustrates how the timing of a chosen one's emergence isn't random, but divinely orchestrated. The climax of Joseph's story, his elevation from prisoner to prime minister, serves as a powerful metaphor for the eventual emergence of chosen ones from their period of transformation. But here's the profound truth that many miss. Joseph's success wasn't despite his isolation and struggles, but because of them. These challenges shaped him into someone capable of handling great power and responsibility with wisdom and compassion. This historical pattern reveals a crucial understanding for modern chosen ones. Your current phase of isolation and limitation isn't a mistake, it's a masterfully designed transformation process. Just as a butterfly can't emerge until its metamorphosis is complete, chosen ones must fully undergo their spiritual transformation before stepping into their greater purpose. As we begin to understand the purpose behind this transformation process, we must ask ourselves, how do we actively participate in this divine metamorphosis? How do we ensure we're making the most of this crucial preparation phase? This leads us to our next revelation about embracing your chosen path. Part 4. Embracing your chosen path. The ancient pattern of divine selection. In the depths of ancient Jerusalem, there lived a young shepherd named David. Like many chosen ones throughout history, he found himself in circumstances that seemed to contradict his true potential. While his brothers served in the king's army and gained social prestige, David remained alone with his sheep, often broke despite his extraordinary talents with the harp and his natural leadership abilities. This pattern of divine selection, where the chosen one appears to be the least likely candidate by worldly standards, repeats throughout spiritual history. Consider Moses, who struggled with speech impediments yet was chosen to lead, or Joseph, who spent years in prison before his gift of dream interpretation was recognized. These biblical accounts mirror the journey of modern chosen ones, revealing a timeless divine strategy. Let's delve deeper into this pattern through a powerful, modern example. Sarah Chen, a brilliant software engineer in New York, found herself repeatedly passed over for promotions despite her innovative solutions. Her colleagues maintained superficial relationships, uncomfortable with her penetrating insights and unwavering integrity. Her bank account rarely reflected her capabilities, as she consistently chose purpose over profit, turning down lucrative offers that compromised her values. One winter evening, while contemplating leaving her career entirely, Sarah experienced a profound spiritual awakening. In her small apartment overlooking Central Park, she realized that her isolation and financial struggles weren't punishments. They were protective barriers, keeping her authentic and aligned with her true purpose. This revelation transformed her understanding of success. The pattern reveals itself. Chosen ones often experience a period of perceived limitation that serves as spiritual incubation. Just as a butterfly requires the constraint of a cocoon for transformation, these limitations create the perfect conditions for spiritual emergence. This process typically unfolds in 3 distinct phases. First comes the separation phase, where chosen ones find themselves increasingly isolated from conventional social circles and traditional paths to success. This mirrors the biblical pattern of divine preparation. Moses' time in the wilderness, Joseph's years in prison, David's solitude in the fields. It's a time of intense personal refinement. The second phase is the awakening phase, where chosen ones begin to recognize the divine purpose behind their struggles. This often coincides with a deepening of their spiritual gifts and intuitive abilities. Like Sarah's moment of revelation, it's characterized by a fundamental shift in perspective about what constitutes true success and fulfillment. The final phase is the integration phase, where chosen ones learn to bridge their spiritual gifts with practical reality. This is where the true transformation occurs, not by escaping their unique path, but by fully embracing it. Sarah, for instance, eventually founded a technology company that aligned with her values, attracting like-minded individuals and creating success on her own terms. This journey of the chosen ones reveals a profound truth. What appears as isolation or financial limitation often masks a divine preparation process. Consider the formation of a diamond. It requires intense pressure, darkness, and time to transform carbon into something precious. Similarly, the challenges faced by chosen ones are not random hardships, but carefully orchestrated conditions for spiritual transformation. The ancient wisdom traditions teach us that divine selection often operates contrary to worldly logic. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. This biblical principle perfectly illustrates how chosen ones frequently experience a reversal of conventional success patterns. Their journey isn't about achieving worldly status or accumulating wealth. It's about embodying a higher frequency of consciousness that will eventually transform the world around them. As we witness this pattern unfold in countless lives across history and into the present day, we begin to understand that being chosen isn't about suffering, it's about transformation. The very challenges that seem to limit chosen ones are actually preparing them for an expansion beyond ordinary human experience. This leads us to our final revelation about the ultimate purpose of these divine selections. The divine purpose, a testament of transformation. In the ancient scrolls of biblical history, we find a profound parallel to the journey of today's chosen ones in the story of Joseph, son of Jacob. Picture a young man blessed with extraordinary gifts of prophecy and insight, yet finding himself utterly alone, sold into slavery by his own brothers. His story mirrors the path many chosen ones walk today. Joseph's journey began in a pit, thrown there by those closest to him. This mirrors how many chosen ones first experience their calling, through isolation and rejection. In Potiphar's house, despite his integrity and capabilities, he faced false accusations and imprisonment. Here we see the familiar pattern, the chosen one's light threatening those living in darkness, leading to their isolation. But the biblical narrative reveals something extraordinary about this period of isolation and material poverty. During his time in prison, Joseph's spiritual gifts didn't diminish, they intensified. In the depths of his solitude, he developed an unprecedented connection with divine wisdom, accurately interpreting dreams and foreseeing future events. This reflects a profound truth about the chosen one's journey. Isolation serves as a spiritual incubator, intensifying their unique gifts. Consider how Joseph's financial situation transformed. From a prisoner with nothing to his name, he rose to become Egypt's chief steward. Yet this wasn't merely a rags-to-riches story. The years of poverty and imprisonment weren't random hardships. They were divine preparation. Each struggle strengthened his character, deepened his wisdom, and prepared him for a purpose far greater than personal success. This pattern repeats throughout spiritual history. Moses spent 40 years in exile before leading the Exodus. David lived as a fugitive before becoming king. In each case, periods of isolation and material limitations served as crucial preparation phases for monumental spiritual purposes. Today's chosen ones walk a similar path. Your current experience of being alone or financially challenged isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Like Joseph in prison, you're developing spiritual capabilities that can only be refined in solitude. Like Moses in the wilderness, you're being stripped of societal conditioning to embrace your true divine purpose. The story takes an even more fascinating turn when we examine the ultimate purpose of these trials. Joseph's years of isolation and poverty positioned him perfectly to save not only Egypt, but his own family during 7 years of famine. His personal struggles prepared him to serve a purpose far beyond himself. This reveals a crucial truth for today's chosen ones. Your current challenges are preparing you for a role in humanity's spiritual evolution. Consider the timing of Joseph's rise to power. Had he not experienced imprisonment, had he not developed his gifts in solitude, he wouldn't have been positioned to interpret Pharaoh's dreams. The divine timing was perfect, though it seemed cruel during the process. Similarly, your current phase of isolation or financial limitation is perfectly timed, preparing you for a crucial role in the spiritual awakening of humanity. But here's where your story transcends even these biblical parallels. In today's rapidly evolving world, chosen ones are being prepared not just to guide others through physical challenges like famine, but through a great spiritual transformation. Your ability to maintain your light despite isolation, to trust divine guidance despite financial struggles, is developing the exact qualities needed to guide others through humanity's collective spiritual evolution. The profound revelation is this: your struggles aren't random hardships, they're sacred initiations. Each moment of loneliness is strengthening your connection to divine wisdom. Each financial challenge is teaching you to trust in spiritual abundance over material wealth. You're being prepared to help humanity bridge the gap between material existence and spiritual truth. As this video concludes, understand that you're not just surviving your challenges, you're being transformed by them. Like Joseph, your current limitations are temporary, but the wisdom and spiritual power you're developing are eternal. Your isolation is ending, your time of financial struggle is shifting, but the divine purpose being birthed through these experiences will impact generations to come. If this message resonates with your soul, you're not alone. Share your journey in the comments below. Join our community of chosen ones, fellow light-bearers who understand this sacred path. Together, we're not just surviving our challenges, we're being transformed by them, preparing to play our unique roles in humanity's great awakening. Remember, you're not broken, you're breaking through. You're not lost, you're being divinely led. Your current challenges aren't your final destination, they're your spiritual initiation into a purpose greater than you've imagined. As you close this video, carry this truth. Being alone or broke isn't your destiny, it's your cocoon stage. The butterfly doesn't fear the darkness of its chrysalis, for it knows transformation requires temporary isolation. Your emergence is already in progress, and your divine purpose awaits. Final message: the sacred journey of the chosen ones. Today, we've unveiled profound truths about your unique spiritual journey. Let's embrace these powerful revelations that transform your perceived limitations into divine preparations. Remember, your solitude isn't a punishment, it's a sacred cocoon where your spiritual gifts are being refined. Your financial challenges aren't failures, they're divine redirections, guiding you toward your true purpose. These struggles aren't random hardships, they are carefully orchestrated steps in your spiritual evolution. But here's the most powerful truth: you're not just surviving these challenges, you're being transformed by them. Like a diamond formed under pressure, your current struggles are crafting you into someone extraordinary. Your light isn't dimming in isolation, it's intensifying, preparing to illuminate paths for others. Now I challenge you. Will you embrace this higher perspective? Will you recognize your struggles not as burdens, but as badges of your chosen status? Will you step fully into your role as a light bearer in this world's great spiritual awakening? This isn't just the end of a video, it's the beginning of your conscious transformation. Your journey as a chosen one is unique, and your story matters deeply to our community. Share your experiences in the comments below. How has this message resonated with your journey? What challenges have shaped your spiritual evolution? What insights have you gained from your periods of solitude? Your story could be exactly what another chosen one needs to hear today. Let's create a sanctuary of understanding in the comments section, where fellow lightworkers can connect and share their wisdom. If this message has touched your soul, become part of our growing community of chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join us on this extraordinary journey of spiritual awakening. Remember to like this video if it resonated with you. It helps others find this message of hope and transformation. Thank you for walking this sacred path with me today. You're not just watching a video, you're participating in a global awakening. Remember, your current situation is not your final destination. It's your launching pad into something far greater than you've imagined. Until we meet again, keep shining your light. Even in solitude, even in struggle, you're never truly alone. You're part of a divine plan unfolding in perfect timing. Peace, light, and divine abundance to all my fellow chosen ones. Subscribe now to join our spiritual family and access more insights about your unique journey. Remember, you're not broken, you're breaking through. You're not lost, you're being divinely led, and you're exactly where you need to be on this sacred journey of transformation.